Hey, it's Shantae. Today is extra special because it marks my 7th business anniversary. 7 years of Sugarpunch marketing. When you consider that 20% of businesses fail in their first year and 49% fail in their first 5 years, reaching year 7 is definitely something to celebrate. For social media agencies specifically, the journey is even more challenging. Many agencies struggle to make it past the 3-year mark when client churn, market changes, and burnout hit the hardest. So being here 7 years later and still going is something that I'm incredibly proud of. Today, I'm sharing the seven for 7 years of business, get it? 7 biggest mistakes I personally made building Sugarpunch marketing. This isn't going to be one of those vague mindset tips, fluff pieces. I'm giving you the exact systems and solutions I use now that I wish I'd started with. So my first big mistake was niching down before I had firsthand experience working with different types of clients and industries. Different industries come with completely different client personalities and needs. For example, startups typically have smaller budgets but are willing to take risks. They're scrappy, often disorganized, and they need things done on the fly. It's challenging and fast-paced. Realtors, on the other hand, are usually glued to their phones, respond quickly, but often need reminders about deadlines. The established ones in high-cost areas typically have larger marketing budgets, so everything has its pros and cons. What I've learned is that you can't effectively niche until you understand these dynamics from experience, not just for when someone tells you in a Facebook group or a membership. What works instead is specializing in a service rather than an industry initially. You can become known for Instagram management, video content, or carousel design while still exploring which client types are the best fit for your working style and business goals. I think a lot of us make this mistake when starting an agency is we try to look bigger and more established than we are by hiding behind a business name and generic branding. What I've learned is that people hire people even when they're hiring an agency. Your unique perspective, approach, and personality are major differentiators in a crowded market. Building a personal brand alongside your agency creates trust and connection before clients ever get on a call with you. It shows them the person behind the scenes and gives them a sense of your values and expertise. This doesn't mean sharing your personal life if you're not comfortable with that. It simply means showing your professional perspective and approach to the work that you do. Mistake number 3, my early portfolio was a joke. I had all these pretty graphics and clever captions that showed zero actual skills that clients care about. What I've learned from hundreds of client calls is that they're looking for specific evidence that you can create content that sounds like them, not like you, manage a calendar without them having to chase you, adapt to platform changes without panicking, and most importantly, get them actual results. The most effective portfolio pieces demonstrate these capabilities through before and after examples, specific results metrics, and client testimonials that highlight how you solved their problems. For social media managers just starting out, focus on showcasing the specific skills you want to be hired for, not just your prettiest designs or cleverest captions. Mistake number 4 is talking to other social media managers, not clients. This mistake actually led to a whole second business for me, but it wasn't helping my agency grow. I was creating all this content about advanced strategy, talking about algorithm theories, sharing behind the scenes, agency building tips, and you know who engaged with that content? Other social media managers. It took me embarrassingly long to realize my ideal clients, busy business owners, didn't care about that stuff at all. What they actually wanted to know was basic things like how often they should post, what kind of content works best for their industry, how to measure if their social media is working, simple ways to create content efficiently. When you focus your content on answering these client questions rather than impressing your peers, you'll attract the people who actually want to pay for your services. Mistake number 5, early in my agency journey, I handled each client relationship differently. There was no standardized onboarding, reporting, or communication process. It was absolute chaos. I was constantly reinventing the wheel. Clients were confused about what to expect, and honestly, it looked unprofessional. What I've built now is a complete client experience system that runs like clockwork, a welcome packet that outlines exactly what happens and when, a standardized onboarding questionnaire that gets all the important info we need, a content approval calendar with clear deadlines, and monthly reporting delivered every month, plus regular strategy check-ins that are built into our calendar. I even have little touches like sending a custom gift after signing, celebration emails when we hit big milestones. And this system means that clients know exactly what to expect. My team knows exactly what to deliver, and I'm not constantly putting out fires. Our client retention has drastically increased because of these systems. Mistake number 6. This mistake cost me thousands and thousands of dollars and nearly made me quit. I hired team members before I had clear SOPs, standard operating procedures, workflows, or training materials. I expected them to read my mind and got frustrated when they couldn't. I'd send vague instructions like, can you create some Instagram posts for client X? Without templates, brand guidelines, or examples of what I wanted. And then I'd be disappointed with what they delivered and end up redoing it myself. One contractor lasted less than a month because I was so disorganized that she couldn't possibly succeed. And that wasn't her fault. It was 100% mine. When you bring someone onto your team without these systems, you're essentially setting them up to fail. They can't read your mind about how you want things done, and you end up micromanaging or redoing their work, which defeats the purpose of you hiring help to begin with. What works instead is creating a detailed documentation first. Process documents for each service you offer, templates for common deliverables, training resources that team members can reference, clear communication channels and expectations, both internally and externally. Take the time to build these systems before hiring because it makes it smoother, it reduces frustration on both sides, and it allows your team members to work independently, which is a win-win for everyone. Last year, I actually hired a workflow strategist to help me rebuild these systems from scratch, and that investment paid for itself within months because my team could actually do what they needed to without needing me. Okay, this is the last mistake, but maybe the most important one. I was terrified of finances when I started. My system was basically money comes in, I pay contractors, whatever's left is mine. I had no idea if I was profitable or just busy. And I paid my team well, which aligns with my values, but I overdid it to the point where I wasn't paying myself enough or investing in business growth. I'd panic about spending a couple $100 on a new software that would save me hours because I didn't know if I could afford it. What changed everything was creating a simple financial tracking system. I started tracking exactly what percentage of revenue each service cost to deliver, how much time I was personally spending on each client, what I needed to set aside for taxes each month, and the lifetime value of different types of clients. This clarity gave me the confidence to raise my prices where needed and invest in things that would actually grow the business. Now I have Frances, my CFO, who handles all of this for me. She's actually one of the experts in my agency building workshop, but I wouldn't have known I could afford her if I hadn't started tracking the basics myself first. For agencies just starting out, you don't need complex software. Start with a simple spreadsheet tracking your profit margins by client and service. This alone will show you where you're actually making money versus just being busy. So if I was starting my agency all over again tomorrow, here's what I would do differently. I'd pick one thing to be known for and talk about it constantly. Maybe carousel design or content strategy, but I'd stop trying to be everything to everyone. Being a specialist first opens so many doors than being a generalist. I'd create super simple client systems right away, nothing fancy, just basic templates for onboarding, a simple welcome email sequence, and a Google Doc with what to expect. Even the most basic system beats the chaos that I created for myself. And I'd pay myself first, period. No more whatever's left after everyone else gets paid approach. I'd set a real salary for myself and treat it like any other non-negotiable business expense. I document everything I do as I go, quick Loom videos or simple checklists for processes as I create them. It's so much easier than trying to remember how you do things when you're finally ready to hire help. And I invest in the right tools from the start. I wasted so much time with free versions and workarounds that actually cost me more in the long run. Sometimes paying for the right software is the cheapest option when you factor in your sanity. Looking back, I think about all the late nights and stress headaches that these 7 changes would have saved me. But hey, at least now I can help you avoid making the same mistakes. After rebuilding my agency last year, I realized how critical the team building phase is. It can either multiply your impact or multiply your problems. And that's why I asked the 2 experts who helped me rebuild, Francis, my CFO, and Gabby, my team care workflow specialist, to join me for a workshop called Building an Agency: Sustainable Scaling for Social Media Managers. In this 90-minute workshop, we covered how to budget for your first hire without risking your profit, where to find reliable contractors who actually deliver, how to create systems that don't require your constant oversight, how to talk to clients about your team so they don't freak out. Francis breaks down exactly how to know when you can afford to hire and how to price your services to support team growth. And Gabby shares her exact process for onboarding new team members, including the checklist she uses for every new contractor. This workshop is $297, which I know isn't small, but honestly, one good contractor who stays with you for 6 months or more is worth at least 20 times that investment. The link is in the description if you're ready to grow beyond a one-person show. So remember, if you're in those crucial first 5 years of your social media agency, focus on one system at a time. For most of you, I'd recommend starting with your client experience because that directly impacts retention and referrals. If this helped you, please engage, follow, subscribe wherever you're listening. It genuinely helps me help you because I'm only human, and seeing the views and the follows increase tells me that you like what I'm doing and I should keep doing it for you. Next week, I'm covering how to create a social media analytics report that clients actually understand. Those reports that don't make clients' eyes glaze over when they see engagement rates and impression counts. So I'll show you exactly how I structure reports to show real value, even to clients who don't speak social media. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.